Good day. My name is Mark Mellor. I'm an attorney here in Riverside, California. I've got a number of clients in Needles facing some financial challenges, and they're considering filing bankruptcy. So I thought it'd help to put together a quick video with some of the questions that I get quite often in my consultation with bankruptcy clients for you to review and think about. The first issue is, do I file a Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 bankruptcy in my particular circumstances? And so we want to look at some of the distinctions and some of the similarities between them in order to make that decision. The first thing to think about is, how much money do I make a year? What do my tax returns say? And the reason why that's important is because that's going to relegate us to the Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 process. Why do I say that? In Chapter 7, in order to qualify to file a Chapter 7, you've got to pass something called a means test. The means test looks at the California statutory median income and whether you fall above or below that median income. And that depends on how many dependents you have, the size of your family, how many deductions you have. Assuming we can get you with your dependents and deductions below the statutory median income, we can file a Chapter 7. If not, and you're above that median income, then you're relegated to a Chapter 13 process. You may say, Mark, why is that important? They're both bankruptcy. Who cares what process I go into? Well, there's some certain advantages and disadvantages to doing both. One is the time frame. Chapter 7 is you get a discharge in 90 to 120 days. Chapter 13 is discharged in 3 to 5 years. That's the first distinction between the two. The second is that some of the requirements related to that are not available to you. For example, I have clients dealing with their houses in the Inland Empire, and they're looking at a house that's underwater. They've got a first and second. The house is valued at less than the first. If you're in that situation, then what we want to think about doing is file a Chapter 13. The reason why we want to think about doing that and repaying our debt over a period of 3 to 5 years, which I'll get into in a moment, but we want to think about filing a Chapter 13 because we have a process called lien stripping that's available to us, whereby after the Chapter 13 3 to 5 year period, we can strip the second from our home and thereby gain that immediate equity back into our home, which may put us above water. So that's something we want to consider, but it's only available in a Chapter 13, not a Chapter 7. Now, the third thing that I want to talk about is the repayment. Why does a Chapter 13 take so long, 3 to 5 years, and a Chapter 7 only take 90 to 120 days? The reason for that is because we're repaying a portion of our debt to our creditors in a Chapter 13, maybe 10 cents on the dollar, maybe 90 cents on the dollar. That depends on what the trustee is, what your income is, and how much debt you're carrying. But in a Chapter 7, you don't repay anything. The debt is just discharged completely. It's over in 120 days, and you don't owe anything to your creditors after you get a discharge from the bankruptcy court. So that's the second reason why we want to look at what type of bankruptcy to file, because if we're looking at a lien stripping process, we're looking at repaying our creditors over a period of time for that long payoff at the end to get that lien stripped from our property. If we don't have those issues and we can try to get you into Chapter 7, that's something we want to do. Anyway, there's those circumstances that you may be facing. Those are some things to think about. If you have any questions or particular assets or liabilities that you want to consider, you want me to answer questions on you if you can keep or you have to get rid of, feel free to give my office a call and set up a consultation. I'd be happy to speak with you about those.